Hi YouTube, I'm here to help you navigate the meta for Axie in January and show you the comps that have dominated the ladder for end of season 19 and have continued to dominate the ladder even in the off season. So the biggest difference between January and last month, December, is that God Mechs have become more affordable. These are the Furball Twin-Tail Mechs. They used to cost about 0.5 ETH for a perfect mech. Now you can probably get one for about 0.1 ETH. And what this has really done is that it has warped the whole meta around it. They are undeniably the strongest comp in the game, so you either play it or you tech your other decks such that you can beat it. So number one comp, the Backdoor God Mech. This is, in my opinion, the strongest version of the deck. And it's a variation of the old Poison comp, where you substitute one of the dust for a God Mech instead. Another new emergence has been the Plant Aqua Bird. So this comp was really popularized when Indes played it all the way to rank 1 in season 19. And a few guys in the top 10 such as 1437 and Enrico has also done well with this comp. Plant Bird is also another mainstay which has been around on the ladder for quite some time now. The biggest difference is substituted the bird from the Indes bird, and now it's running a backdoor Sneaky Bird to help tech against the God Mechs. This Katboki is another good deck that's running around, which is favorable into the backdoor God Mechs. After all, they can't backdoor you if they don't have any cards. Double Aqua Plants, another classic. It's continued to be around the ladder. The biggest difference is that cool Aquas used to be more popular. Now Spiky Wings are the number one choice. And of course Shrimp Mech. It's still around. It has replaced the Mech with the God Mech instead. Alright, so next comp is Plant Aqua Bird. This is a comp which Indes piloted all the way to rank 1. This comp is all about doing damage and doing damage fast. So you run a very high damage team, a damage plant frontline, Sandal, Goda, Cactus, Cattail. Goda, it's better than Sirius here as it just does more damage and beast damage. But of course, if you're on a bit of a budget, Sirius is a acceptable alternative. For the mid line, you run the typical Beast Bug Aqua, so Akko, Scarab, Priana, Nemo. Other alternatives for the back would be stuff like Risky Beast or Sandal, but Scarab is really the best option, especially when you're facing so many double plants around. Scarab just helps a lot in that matchup versus the heals of Zigzag, and helping it's a range card, so it helps defend against Gravel Ant. For the back line, you run the typical Indes Bird, so Balloon, Peacemaker, Eggshell, Hair. Another alternative besides the Indes Bird is to run a pure damage bird. So Tri-Feather, Peacemaker, Eggshell, Risky Feather. So this is a bird that was seen piloted by 1437. It sacrifices the utility of Balloon and Hair for just more damage of Tri-Feather and Risky Feather. It's also faster as well, so it's better in some matchups. Of course, you sacrifice the utility and the beast damage of Hair. But of course you have a lot of other beast bug damage around, so that's not really that much of a drawback. Next up is PPB or Plant Bird. So this is pretty similar to the old version. The difference is that it has added some tech in to fight against the God Mechs. So the front plant is pretty much the same. Sandal, Sirius, Beach, Cattail, still good. The mid and the back is where we start to see differences. So the new version, it runs Biden, Zigzag, Skilly Spoon, Gravel Ant, whereas the old version, it would have run Cactus instead of Skilly Spoon. So Skilly Spoon was mainly added in to fight against God Mechs because it reflects range damage, and the majority of the damage from the God Mech is range. For the back bird, the standard is now the Toothless Bird, so Pigeon Pose, Toothless, Bite, Eggshell, and Hair. In the past, people used to run the Indes Bird on the back, but Toothless Bite is just so important to be able to snipe off God Mechs. If not, a God Mech versus plants, it's not going to end well. So, yeah, instead of Beach, you could run Little Branch, Cactus, Scaly Spoon, the old version of Cactus, is still good. It just has a bit of a worse matchup into the God Mechs. And instead of running the Toothless Bird, you could run the old Index Bird instead. Still okay, it just doesn't work as well against God Mechs. Next up is the Discard Bockies, which is run with Double Back Aqua. So this comp is virtually unchanged since the last time around. It does a fairly decent job into the God Mech. The Aqua wins against the God Mech 1v1, Balloon and Discards help protect you from the back door. So it does pretty okay, no real reason to change, it stays the same. So the comp is run with 2 barks, Sandal Pincer Parasite Fishneck times 2. Some changes would be fish instead of the fishneck on the front, some people run a cattail. It makes the barks a bit more squishy, but cattail is a very good card in the current meta. Next, instead of running Sandal, you can run a Scarab on the midline. So this helps versus Gravel Ant, gives you a bit of range damage. Balloon Aquas are the best, but if you can't afford it, a budget option would be Goldfish plus Nemo instead of Balloon and Koi. It's really a much more budget option, not as good, so I wouldn't recommend it. Another cheaper alternative is that instead of running Piranha the Aqua, you can run Risky Fish instead. This is going to be a bit cheaper, but it's still pretty decent, very acceptable. Next up is AAP, or the old classic Double Aqua Plants. So this comp is pretty similar to the old version. The biggest difference is that now Spiky Aquas have become the backline of choice instead of Cuckoo Aquas. Spiky Wing is just a really good card in the current meta. It basically halves the opponent's shields, and in the current meta where there are lots of plants, bugs, stars with high shields, Spiky Wing is just a really good card. The front plant is pretty much the same. Bone Seal, Goda, Cactus, Cattail is good. The mid Aqua, pretty much the same. Aqua, Akko, Scarab, Piranha, Nemo. And the back line is the new Spiky Aqua, Spiky Wing, Lamb, Oranda, Koi. So instead of Spiky Aquas, Cuckoo Aquas are still good. So instead of Spiky Wing, Oranda, you run Blue Moon and Cuckoo. Still does a decent job, and it wins the mirror because your Cuckoo Aqua is faster than the Spiky Aqua. Instead of running Scarab, I think Risky Beast is another decent alternative, and it's much cheaper as well. It does slightly worse against plants because you can't stop the heal, but it actually does better in the mirror because beast parts give you +1 speed versus the bug parts.